Just when America has reached a breaking point with division, visionary influencer Danni Benson's I'm Proud of You Sis bro movement taps into the pulse and heartbeat of a culture radically torn. But this loving mom's voice of reason and calm has received national recognition.
How'd you balance having your children and always traveling with the Yankee organization?
When I became a dad, I said that I would always love like a mother.
I feel like I have to try certain things or act a different way because I know some people or some kids.
So join Danni Benson as she celebrates her special guests on her show and highlights their gifts and contributions to our world.
Hi, everyone. Hi. My name is Danni Benson. I'm the host and founder of I'm Proud of You Sis. I love to give women and sometimes men their flowers. Thank you for joining. It's Wednesday, hump day. We're almost there, guys. I have a great guest on. I can't wait to have her on. Her name is Imani Ali. She has a beautiful song that is on all streaming platforms right now called Crazy for You. I heard her just scrolling on my Instagram page, and the sound was just such a beautiful sound. I was like, oh my God, you have to come on my show. The world needs to hear your voice. So I'm so happy that she's here. She also has a podcast that is launching called the Daddy Daughter Dance Podcast on February 21st. So please check that out on all streaming platforms. But I'm here to introduce you to, let's just call her Imani. Hi, Imani. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Hi, how are you? Oh my God. I am so happy that you are here because I wanted you to come here to represent your generation of just like artistry. Is it like easier to get your music on back when, because it was harder for us in our generation. We had to have an A&R. We had to do this. So I heard your voice, and your voice is so amazing, girl. I just want to let you know that. But I also saw your post when you were also saying, if you have nothing good to say, like my mama used to tell me, don't say nothing at all.
Yes.
So please just explain to everybody what, like the song that you dropped and the comments you were getting. And I'm so happy that you advocated for yourself, because in this generation, it just seems like mean people say mean things. Hurt people say hurtful things. And I feel like it has to stop, because you're a strong woman, so you can, speak up for yourself. But imagine all the women and children or people out there who don't have the courage to stand up for themselves, because on social media, people say like the meanest things. So first of all, just talk to me about, when did you decide finally that you wanted to, drop music?
I've always knew that I wanted to sing and make music, but I feel like it took like a pretty long time. So I'm happy that it's finally here. I know that everyone has been waiting for me to drop music, and I just felt like the beginning of 2024 was just the perfect time, because I started recording the songs like at the end of last year. So I felt like this year just is like a perfect time to introduce my music to the world. So I'm super excited that I was able to start that by dropping my first official single.
So did you write the song also, or you're a co-writer, or how do you come up with your music?
So I co-wrote this song with a good friend of mine, China, whose mom is Faith Evans, and our moms have known each other for years. And basically, my mom connected me with her because she always knew how talented she was, and she came over, and that was the first song that we both wrote together. And it was just like a vibe that I felt that day, because I had met her as a kid, but I didn't remember, until now. So I kind of got to reintroduce myself, and it just was like a perfect vibe. We just started just kind of coming up with melodies and writing, and it was just like, yeah, this is the one to to put out.
No, it's definitely the one because it's so you. It's
Yeah.
so it's so you, and it's so for you're just so innocent. Like meaning that there's so many songs out there that doesn't really represent like the young generation. They're kind of, I call it rough, and
Yes.
and your song is just so it's so beautiful and innocent, and it reminds me of just falling in love again, like the innocent way. So can you sing like a hook or something just so the audience can hear how beautiful your voice sounds?
Yeah, I can do a little bit. The hook is like, "Ooh, you're a breath of fresh air, how nothing else compares. I just wanna let you know, baby, I'm so crazy, crazy for you."
Yeah! Yo, audience, this is
I like this
acapella.
one.
This is acapella, so you know she knows how to sing. Oh God, you sound so
Thank you.
amazing.
That's right now. I like it. I'm like just
No,
getting it.
no, you know what? Because sometimes you think it's like a studio voice sometimes when you hear people and you don't really know how they sound until a concert. But
Yeah.
yo, you sound wow, amazing. Oh my God, I'm so happy for you. I am so happy
Thank
for you because
you.
this song, Crazy for You, is such a simple, beautiful melody and it goes with you. So I'm happy that you found like someone who understands what you were looking for. Because I know, so because how did you guys collaborate? Like, what were you telling her what you were looking for? Like, what path you wanted to take?
I kind of explained that I love like R&B, acoustic type of vibe. So she kind of knew the lane I was going, and I gave some examples of certain artists that I like Victoria Monet, Ariana Grande, Kehlani. I just love all those people. So I was just giving those examples of like, who I'm, like inspired by. So it kind of helped her like be like, okay, I know, the way that we can go. And we were just listening to the tracks. And when she played that one, I was like, yeah, I really like this one. I think this definitely sounds like me. And I could definitely hear me, singing on it. And then it just went, from that moment.
Yes, because your voice melted into the song.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, like flawlessly. So I know that you're excited about this song. So okay, so then I saw you singing this song on your page because your page is basically your PR, your brand, right? To
Yeah.
promote yourself to the world.
Mhm.
And your voice sounded so like eloquently beautiful, but then of course you had to respond to the comments. So what were some comments that you were getting that you were just so disturbed about that you were surprised that people could even have the guts to say?
I think it's just, well, the one thing I can remember, I posted a video where I was promoting the song, and I basically had said, people always ask me like, do I sing like my mom? Well, here's the answer. And then I put a clip of the video, and people in the comments were basically saying, like, I got more nice comments. I have a lot of nice people that follow me, but it reached, people that don't follow me. So some people were like, well, yeah, no, you don't sound like your mom. And I was like, the question was, meaning, do I sing like her? Like just period. Like, do I sing period because I come from a mom who
Yeah, do
sings?
you sing like her? Because your mom, let everybody know who your mom is.
Yeah, my mom is Shawnee's. You guys might know one of her hit singles, "I Love Your Smile." And so I basically said, like, people always ask, do I sing like her? But not meaning, do I literally sound like her? I
Sing,
meaning,
yeah. You know what it is?
so
Reading in front is fundamental. You didn't say you sounded like her. You just said that, yeah, my
do I?
mom sings and so do I.
Yeah. So here's my song that's dropping soon. Like that's all I was trying to say. So there was people that got it, and they were kind of like defending me in the comments, and then there were some people like, no, like, I'm like, you could have just either said nothing at all, or it'll be like, you don't, but I'll get the song. And I'm like, you could have just said something nice or didn't say it at all. So definitely stuff like that.
First of all, whether you sound like your mom or not, you do sing like your
Yeah.
mom. So you were gifted that, like it passed down from your mom to you. So, let's thank God for that, because you do have a voice, because that there are people out there that their parents or mom or dad sound great, but unfortunately the genes didn't pass through. So I can't even imagine someone saying like to you that your voice sounds horrible, because I think that's a hater. I'm sorry. Your
Yeah.
voice does not sound horrible. So do you sometimes feel that people behind the screen are sometimes jealous because maybe they're not following their dreams, and you're putting yourself out there and is following your dreams?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think so, because no one has ever said like I sounded bad. They just kind of were like, you're fine, but you don't sound like your mom. And I'm like, okay, like that's not the point. So I think sometimes people behind the screen, it definitely could be more of a reflection of them than it really is me or whoever they're speaking to, especially when they don't know me. They just know what I put online, but they don't know me and my personal, day-to-day life. So I definitely think that could possibly be, people's reasonings as to why they comment, hurtful things.
And you know what? Let me tell you something. Your mom has like an amazing voice, but there's different voices that
Yeah.
constitutes the whole genre. Not everyone is gonna sound like your mom. Not every and it's okay. Because
Yeah.
I've listened to some artists who I think it's marketing too, like who have great voices, and sometimes it's who's your marketing team, who pushes you out there, like or
Yeah.
you're pushing yourself out there, because I've heard some people that I'm like, okay, their voice is okay, but the
Mhm.
whole package that they put around this person has made them sound really, really, really well. Like, for
Yeah.
instance, no disrespect, I think Britney Spears sounds like amazing, but
Mhm.
she has her own lane. Like, everyone has their own lane, and will have those people that gravitate to them. So
Mhm.
you'll have your own people that will
Yes.
gravitate to you. So
Yeah.
what are you so go ahead, what are you gonna say?
I was just agreeing. I was like, yeah, exactly. I definitely understand it and feel that as well.
Yeah. So are you working on a second song? Do you have like six? Because I think when it's 6 songs, is an EP or it's an LP. How does that work?
I think an EP could be like about like 5, 6 songs. Some people do less. We have recorded a bunch of other songs, so I have songs that I have and more that I might start working on, so I can have like a variety to choose from and see which ones I would want to go on my like entire EP. So I've been working on that, and I haven't plan a date yet, since I just dropped this single, but I definitely would probably drop another single or two before I drop like either a EP or an album, So I do have like about like 6, 7 other songs that we've done, and I did one with these other boys at first who are really, really talented. So I get to kind of hear like the mix of working with them and then working with her. So I'm really grateful for both of them, and I'm really excited to do more.
I'm so excited for you. So we were talking about Instagram and how people don't really have A&R anymore, like artist representation, because I think social media, you can take more control of your brand. So
Yeah.
how are you pushing Crazy for You? I know it's streaming on all platforms, but how are you letting the world know that this song, exists?
I think by continuing to make content basically like based around it, because I feel like I've seen so many people promote their songs through TikTok and Instagram by like just like creative little videos that are probably like 30 seconds, but I feel like
Hmm.
it really does help. And I just posted a video of me the other day, since it's been like a week since it dropped. And I was kind of like outside, like walking and like
I
singing the
know.
song. And he was just trying to give, that like vibe. So,
It is a
and I
spring song. It is a spring, summer. I'm like, yay! Like I hear it, and I'm like, I can't wait for summer. I can't wait for spring. It's definitely you dropped it at the right time.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I
thank you.
mean?
Yeah, I definitely have been just thinking of a lot of content ideas that I feel like has helped me so far. And I feel like I can see the effects. So I guess just continuing at that and, just see how many people love the song.
Well, first of all, I love the song, and I'm not even saying it because it's you. I just scrolled, and when I stopped for a second, I was like, "Wow, whose voice is that?" That's what I said to
Mhm.
myself, and I looked at the name, and I was like, "Oh my God, she grew up. She
Oh,
really grew
yeah.
up."
I
Yeah,
know. It's
I
crazy.
know. I'm like, wow. Okay, so do you, all right. So let me ask you a question. Are you taking voice coaching, voice lessons right now? Because how did your voice improve? Like, because I've heard you sing before, but it has improved. So how
Mhm.
did you stay focused to say, okay, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to start doing my goals and my task of, because it's not easy to be a singer. You got to
Yeah.
practice. Like, so when did you decide that you're going to put 100% commitment into your music career?
I think like over the years, I was always just like trying to practice singing, because I know it's like a muscle, so you kind of have to keep working it. So I've always like sung, you know, throughout the years. But I feel like taking it like serious and knowing that this is like what I want to do and I'm set, I feel like probably was like the last year or two is when I was like, okay, like this is what I want to do. I know I want to do it for sure. So now I just have to just basically just go for it. So I think helping, but I think singing and having my mom and my grandma also help over the years. Since they both sing, obviously, has helped me a lot in just practicing and then getting ready to do my own music.
So when you have a couple of songs come out after this one, can you see yourself doing a showcase or, going to perform live?
Yeah, I definitely could see that. I think that would be a lot of fun. And I think that's another way for people to hear music and be able to feel it live and enjoy it. So I think that would be something that I would love to do, dropping more music.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. So what are you doing right now besides singing? Are you doing other, like are you in school? Like what else are you doing to support? Are you supporting your music career? Like how does it all work? Like are you self-funded? Are you working? Like how does this, cuz when cuz you're independent. So you pay for everything yourself, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And then do you like that freedom because you get to be yourself as opposed to, signing with a record label, then sometimes they make you become something that you don't want to be, but to be on this label, that's what they want. Do you like the independence of your music versus being on a label?
I think I really do like having the freedom to be able to choose like when I want a song to come out or which song that I want to come out. I think that is the beauty of being a independent artist. I do think that like I know along the way comes more things like it could be like manager or this person or that person. I know that comes and I feel like when that does come my way, I definitely am very smart, so I just would kind of still be able to make sure I also like have my say, and I know I have my parents and my whole family behind me. So and when that time comes or whoever that person or people may be, I just know I guess how I would handle it or go about it. But I do believe that now in this day we do have a lot more like options when it comes to being independent, but also having a manager or this and that, like, or being signed or not being signed, we definitely do have a lot more freedom.
Would you ever sign with a record label?
I feel like I guess I just say if that's in the script for me in life, and if that's supposed to happen for me, then it's supposed to happen. So, right now, I guess I'm just taking it day by day. Since it dropped like now a little bit over a week ago. So I'm just kind of just taking it day by day. But like I said, if that's in my plan, if it's in my script in life, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Well, I think it is in the plan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna manifest it for you right now. I can see you winning a Grammy.
Yeah, thank you.
I really can. Like I feel like your music is connecting to people's soul, and it's something that, like you were saying, like all the singers that you're inspired by. The reason that SZA, what is her name, Victoria Monet?
But yeah.
Yeah, it's just because R&B has been lost for a while, and we've had R&B artists, but they haven't really been pushed in front of mainstream media as they used to be pushed, right? So it's so
Yes.
nice to kind of hear R&B again, because honestly, I miss it. Like, I have nothing against, hip hop, rap music, other genres, but I feel like R&B got pushed on the wayside. I mean, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I do feel like, it has been kind of like pushed, and I feel like I've seen so many R&B artists, and even people who are more like underground, they would say, that I'm like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
these people are so talented, but you don't see them, like every day. So I think when I saw Victoria win her first Grammy, it really inspired me because I knew her as a writer for Ariana Grande, and she's written for so many.
Really?
Yeah, she's written, like, if you look back at Ariana's credits from like her first projects, there's her name. So she's been a writer and her own artist. So to see her finally win, it just kind of inspired me, because it showed like even if it didn't happen right away, that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. And she's really talented. So I was like, it was really nice to see a Black woman um, winning that, and I think it really is inspiring for other artists, to kind of also pursue their R&B career, because we don't hear as much of it anymore.
I mean, when
Yeah.
you were growing up, did you listen to well, that's the wrong thing. Did your did your generation, the kids you grew up, did they even know what R&B was? Because I felt like R&B was missing for a while. I think like it was like Rihanna. We would hear like, sorry, we would hear like the Rihannas, but we weren't really hearing as much as we used to when I was growing up, because R&B was playing 24/7 in my house, in the car. It was everywhere, in the clubs, in the restaurants. And then for some reason, like, something happened. So did your generation grow up with R&B at all?
Yeah, I feel like my parents have they are the parents that have played all types of music, especially heavy on the R&B throughout the house when we were kids and we were growing up. They always had, like, like the main, like, artists that we should know, like Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, all those amazing people were always playing through like our house. So I always knew of it coming from my own household. I'm not sure about other kids, but I know that I think I could like relate with more of like the Black community. My friends that I did have in school, we both could relate on how our parents would play R&B when it was time to clean on like a Saturday or a Sunday or something. So I definitely did experience and get to experience those times.
And aren't you glad? Aren't you glad? Because sometimes when I play the music, because my kids, they're 10, they're like, "Mommy, what are you playing?" I'm like, "Don't worry, you'll understand later. You'll understand because I'm trying to inspire them, and music inspires me
Mhm.
even when I'm having a bad day or I'm stressed out or whatever's going on. Like music makes me move,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like it's cool for kids. That's why I kind of understand. What instrument did you play when you were in school? Did you have to pick an instrument?
Yeah, I there was one that we all had to play, and it was like called a recorder, and it was like a flute, but not a flute. And
My
then
kids had it like it was like a fake flute, right in the beginning,
yeah,
right?
yeah, we all had to play that. And then I chose to do violin, but I just fell off, and I never continued. So those are the two things I did in school.
It's funny because like my kids are going into sixth grade, so they were in chorus and they were doing the violin, but
Yeah.
now they have to make a choice. And I was like, oh my god, you have to make a choice
Oh, that's
because
crazy.
they want to do both, but they
Yeah.
chose chorus. They were like, Mom,
Mhm.
we want to do chorus. So did you have to make a choice also?
I think in school I was able to do chorus and violin because they didn't count as like they were different classes. So if it just like kind of like you kind of have to set it with your schedule, if that makes sense. So I would
God,
do like
yes,
chorus at this time, but then later I know I would have this
the
practice.
violin. So which one you
Yeah,
liked better?
I would definitely say chorus. Everybody was all singing, and we got to do like shows where we sang for the parents and stuff. So I think that was really
Did you ever
fun.
get to do a solo?
I don't think I ever did a solo. It was more like I was just in the group of the in the stands. But yeah, it was fun. It was a fun experience.
Oh, okay. So then when you graduated high school, did you say to yourself, when they say, okay, what do you want to be when what do you want to be when you want to grow up? Like, the question that people ask. What
Yeah.
was your answer? What do you want to be when you grow up?
I always knew my lane was definitely in the entertainment industry as soon as I graduated. So I knew that I wanted to sing, act, dance, anything that falls under that umbrella, like write as well. I knew that that's the path that I wanted to take as soon as I graduated officially.
Would you ever consider starting out as a writer, just like Victoria Monet and other artists that did start as writers and eventually moved up and got the platform to sing and share their music to the world? Because I remember her used to write music also. So
Mhm.
many of these great artists now that we know and our household names first started out as being writers. Do you
Yeah.
think that's like a method to their madness to get to meet people and first they show their talent of writing in the hopes that one day they will be discovered for their vocals?
Yeah, I think that it can definitely help because I know that most of those people were still dropping their own music as well, like at the same time. So I think it
Mm.
definitely does help like expand your connections and people that you can meet and stuff, or just being in studios and stuff. So I think I would definitely be open to doing both because I think writing is something that I've always enjoyed as well. So even if it's not for me, like if someone needed me to write with them, I would be definitely open for that as well.
You know what? As a writer, I feel like it's so personal. And if I'm a vocalist, how do you give it away? Because how do you decide, like saying, but I could sing this song? But how do you
Mhm.
give it away to someone else knowing that you're writing a hit for someone else where you could keep it for yourself? Like, how do you make that decision?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I feel like I've never been in that position yet, but um, I think if the song kind of fits for that person, or if that person is kind of like helping guide the song to where it fits for them, and you're kind of just writing what they're saying, I think that shows that it is their song and that that's
Mm.
for them. So I think that is how I would say that I think that works, but I know that that might not always be the case.
Yeah, because wouldn't you get attached to the song a little bit, even though they're giving their feedback, like, let's talk about love and I got heartbroken. Since it's like you're helping out, isn't it your pieces of yourself is attached to that song also, or songwriters who learn how to separate it, just like acting. Like if I'm acting and I'm kissing someone and I'm married, I know this is just my job, and I know that I go home to my husband or my wife. Is it something like that where you just separate it?
I think honestly, people probably have mastered being able to separate it. Knowing that at the end of the day, they're there to do that job for that person. So
Mm-hmm.
I think, there could be someone who feels more like attached, but I feel like most have probably mastered that art of, still knowing that they have a piece of that work and still reminiscing, if there's certain memories or moments that came out of that song, but still knowing that, they at least helped someone else, release their song. So I
Yeah.
think so.
No, well, so let me ask you: would you ever do a duet with your mom?
I definitely would be down to do a song with her. I think that would be really cool. And I
I
think
think that would.
everybody would love it. Yeah.
I think it would be. I think it would be so because your mom is so young spirited at heart. I think it's really. I think it's our generation. I don't think we ever want to grow up with Toys R Us kids. I don't know. I feel like I'm 21 forever. So I know like your mom has like the same spirit like us.
Mhm.
Like how would you feel? Like would it be like just a real moment to be on stage with your mom doing a song? What? Tell me the emotions you would feel like just seeing that happen.
I think that would be so much fun, and I think that would be something that we both would really love. Because I feel like she, of course, has all her like fans since she was a kid who have then watched her have me. So I think us both being on stage singing a song that is like our song would make people like be like, wow, I watched her, but now I'm watching her with her kid now. So I think that would be really cool to be able to share something like that with the whole world.
So how we can make this happen? Because I know you have a podcast with your dad. So how can we make mommy you want to have a song with Imani? Like how can we make this happen? And the sooner the better. The
Yeah,
sooner the better because I think it would be so amazing. So how can we make this happen? Have you asked your mom yet?
I haven't yet, but I know that if I did, she would definitely say yes. So I think that could definitely easily happen. We would just have to just basically just think of, what we want to talk about and what it would be about, and then just record it and then see what happens.
You know she's waiting on you, right?
Yeah, I know she's definitely. I'll definitely talk to her, but I know she will definitely be down.
No, she's waiting on you. So let's talk about Daddy Daughter Dance podcast. It's Daddy
Yeah,
Daughter. So it's three D's, right? Daddy
yeah,
Daughter
the
Dance
guy
podcast.
that yeah.
So what do you? Okay, so it's launching February 21st. So okay, how did this come about? First of all, your dad is super cool, super knowledgeable. First of all, how was it growing up with a dad like that? Because he's super involved.
Yeah. So I would definitely say I know that dads can be, in a sense, different when it comes to daughters. They can be a lot more protective and stuff like that. Of just certain people.
Stay
Yeah,
strict.
just like
Stay strict. Stay
yes,
strict. Stay strict.
yeah. Yeah, but I know that he was always just protective of me. But as I've gotten older, since I like am 22 now, he kind of has eased up a little bit. But I would basically give the example of his show One on One, just seeing that dynamic of the dad
Well, first
and
of all,
daughter.
tell everybody who your dad is. Tell everyone who your dad is.
My dad is Flex, and he was on the show One on One with Kyla Pratt. And that show is, I think, a great example of the father and daughter thing. And of course, I was a baby when that was happening. I was like born during that whole process. But I guess it kind of maybe helped him apply some like kind of some of those things in real life, like now having an actual daughter.
You know
So
what?
yeah,
The one-on-one was such a great show. It was such a whole. Back in the day, we used to have wholesome shows, like very
yeah,
sweet, loving, and just very like there was always like a message at the end,
yeah,
and I can see your dad was manifesting the relationship that he wanted to have with you as a baby. So probably when
yeah,
he was acting, he's like, "Have Imani. This is what I would say to Imani." So I think that
yeah,
that show flowed so perfect. It just flowed so perfectly, and everyone
yes,
watched that show because every girl, wants the love from their dad. You know what I
mhm,
mean? And then every dad loves their, girl, which is like why they
mhm,
came up with Girl Dad. You know,
yes.
but as your dad is an actor, your dad is a comedian. How was he like? How like did you were you rebellious? Like, tell me how were you as a daughter? Like, did you treat him like how we treat all our dads? Like, yeah, whatever. Or you like you broke the rules? Like, how is the dynamic working? Because now that you're 22 years old, can you look back and say to yourself, "Damn, dad was right."
Yeah, I definitely know some things that I look, back and I'm like, oh, like they were right, or I know that they were just trying to protect us. I don't think I was ever like rebellious. Like if it was certain things that me and my friends would like sneak and we would say we were like here, but we were really there. But I've never done anything else that was like serious enough where he had to like pull up or something happened. So I definitely always made sure to um like follow their rules and like what they say and stuff. Even if sometimes I didn't want to, but I do look back and I know that they were just trying to protect us and just be parents, because I know that it's scary being a parent. Even though I'm not a parent, I could just see from
Yeah.
people's experiences and what they say, or me watching babies and their moms or dads. So I definitely can understand now why my parents are the way that they are.
So what is the Daddy Daughter Dance podcast about? What is the theme of this like podcast with you and your dad?
So basically it kind of started because on TikTok, like about like last year, we started doing little videos where I would like kind of I would like talk to him about three specific questions, but he wouldn't know what the questions were. So I kind of like would like kind of surprise him and like get his real reaction. And like people on TikTok, they were like, "Oh my gosh, like love this, like this is so cool, blah blah blah." So we kept doing more, and then people were saying like this should be like a podcast, and I know that it's something that he has always wanted to do. So we kind of came up with that idea to do a podcast, and it's basically just about relationships with dads and daughters, and just being able to talk about real things that some people might be nervous to talk to their parents, or especially dads about. So we'll talk about dating, we'll talk about social pressures, just that whole everything that kind of comes with that, and hoping that if some people at home, if they don't have that they can take something away from that or feel like they're at home, as well. So that's where we kind of got that from.
So what was one of the hardest questions you had to ask your dad? Like like you were cringing because you were like, like what were
Yeah.
like a question or two of questions you had to ask? Because I used to be scared to ask my dad questions, so I can't even imagine. So what was like one question that you kind of cringed to ask him, but you had to?
I definitely think about dating and sort of stuff like that. I think that's definitely a very awkward topic to talk about sometimes, because it just yeah, at least there's so many things like within that topic, like virginity and just all that type of stuff. So I think that was the most where I kind of like cringed, because I know that no matter what, like especially dads, like I said, when it comes to daughters and dating, it's going to be a completely different story. So that was definitely a little bit cringy.
So which is more cringy, like asking your dad about I don't know, like dads are weird. Like, do you think your dad is telling you advice from a man point of view or a dad point of view? Like when he talks about dating, like you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I think it could be a mixture of both because, obviously he knows it probably has experienced certain, things like, or just seeing certain things, or just knowing how a guy could possibly operate, but then also being a dad and having that type of, response as well. So I think it could be a mixture of both sides.
so does it on the show? Does your dad ask you any questions, or once you ask him a question, it's like an ongoing dialogue, or you ask a question and then he sits there and he explains it to you and to everyone else who's watching? Like how is the format? Is it like back and forth, or it's questions that we would want to ask our dad and we would want to hear our answers from our dad?
Yeah, it's almost like a conversation basically. So
Okay.
I'll say, something and then he'll respond and then he might ask me a question. So it's kind of just like a conversation that just flows just based off of what we're talking about.
So, is your dad a girl dad? Like, are you a girl dad? Like, are you like a daddy's girl, or you're a mommy's girl? Like what are you like? What do you feel like you are? You close to your dad, your mom, or you're just closer to both?
I would say I'm honestly close to them both. And I can see certain like similarities like of things that me and my dad can like relate on, or like we'll do the same things, or like my mom, same for her. So I think I kind of have these close relationships with them both. And I think it's pretty cool, to be able to
Cool.
have that with them both.
It's cool. I remember seeing the TikTok with you and your mom. I think you guys did the first TikTok like a while, like I think last year or year before, and I was like, wow, it must be so
Yeah.
cool to be growing up with your kid.
Yeah.
See them as little babies, and now they're like your height and doing everything that you're doing. So I know like it must be like a surreal feeling um, to have. See, when we were growing up, like your parents and us, our generation and our parents' generation seems so far apart, right? Do
Yeah.
you sometimes feel like our generation between your mom and your dad like are close together? Like meaning like we're doing the same things, like we're both on TikTok, we both listen to the same music, we both have a cell phone. It's not like there's any like really separation. Do you
Yeah.
understand what I mean when I say that?
Yeah, like I would say I know that they are obviously from a different generation, but I was born in 2001. So there's certain things that people born in like the late 90s, like they'll say, and I'm like, I also can relate to that, but they'll be like, you're not a 90s baby. I'm like, I know I'm not, but there are certain things that I can relate to, like certain music. Like I grew up watching all those Disney Channel shows that came out. I remember watching That's So Raven. Like I remember like all those shows, but then I'm like, so I feel like I can, in a sense, relate, but I know that obviously there are certain things that I didn't just grow up around because I wasn't a part of that generation. But I would say that we're kind of very similar, and also because my parents like to be in the know, so of course they have TikTok, certain things like that they try to do as well.
I know because my kids got me doing like TikTok. I think it's so weird because I could never imagine my parents being on TikTok. I could never imagine my parents being on Instagram. I'm like, we would do things and they'd be like, go to your room. But now
Yeah.
I feel like the parents and the kids are closer now because you see parents doing TikToks with their kids. Like, I think
Mhm.
it's so cool. I think it brings a family closer when you can do something together like that. Um, so I'm happy to hear that you actually not cringe when you're doing a TikTok with your parents.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they would. My mom, she would always ask me to do TikToks, and then I finally was like, okay, but anytime we do a TikTok, people just love to see it, and they're always like interacting in the comments and stuff like that, or they'll be like, "Wow, you look like both parents," or "Flex doesn't age, she doesn't age." Like
I
people just
know.
love like seeing us, anytime we show up. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, your parents have not aged. I think I don't know what was in our water when we were like, growing up, but we haven't aged, and our spirit hasn't aged either. Like we're
Yeah.
very, we have wisdom, but we're still youthful also.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, we don't act like, like like we don't act, I don't know, we don't act old. I don't know what it is. Like
Yeah.
we are old, but we don't, I don't know. I don't know. You know what it is? I want to stay young forever. So I always say I'm going to be forever 21. So
Mhm.
I guess like it's the spirit of your thoughts, like how you feel about yourself. I think age is like Aaliyah say, ain't nothing but a number.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's how you feel inside is what dictates how you look outside. I think if you feel youthful inside, you look youthful outside. I feel like if you feel like you're like a grump, then it
Yeah.
shows that you're like a grump. So let's talk about manifesting. If you had three wishes, what would those three wishes be? For your 20s, because I'm not gonna say for the rest of your life, because there's so many things that can happen. Like, you know what I mean? For your
Mhm.
20s, since you're 22, what would be your three wishes that you would want to happen in your 20s?
I would say to um I would say definitely have some of my goals like accomplished. Definitely because I know I'm still young, so things could happen in my 30s as well. But at least like some of the main goals that I have in my mind, would love to
So
start
what are the
or
goals? What are the goals? I want to hear the goals. I want you to manifest, say it right here. So then you can look back and say, oh, I did say this. I did say that, because I believe in manifestation. So what are your goals? Don't worry about if you're going to accomplish them or not, but I want you to just say them so you can manifest it so it can happen. So what are your goals?
definitely I would love to win a Grammy. I know that might not, happen in my 20s, but that would just be a goal, and to be a successful artist. I would say to stay healthy, and just be like, because I feel like that's important. I feel like if you're not, taking care of yourself in the inside, then,
Mm-hmm.
it's just not good. So definitely staying healthy throughout my life and well. Um, and I would say, I think honestly, of a third one, I would love to do acting as
I
well.
was about to ask you that. You said
Yeah,
like, what do you, okay. So you want to do acting. You've taken acting courses.
yeah. I started taking classes at Tasha Smith's actors workshop, so it's called TSAW, and I started before COVID when it was in like person, and then COVID happened, and then it was on Zoom. But I learned so much from that class, and I still, am always like trying to take classes and stuff because I know that as well is something that you have to work as a muscle.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really really fun, and I think that I would love to be able to apply that within the acting world.
Would you ever consider, like, have you gone to an audition, or are you pursuing that, or are you really pursuing the music first and acting is secondary?
I have gone on auditions and stuff like that. I just sent one in like the other day, so I'm definitely working on that as well. At the same time as music, because like I'm like, why not do it all? So I'm definitely working at that. So I would love to be able to experience more and you know all that.
So Imani, I want to give you your flowers because you guys are the next generation of greatness. You have an amazing voice, and I'm not just saying that just to say that. You do have an amazing voice. So either whether I'm
Thank
a
you.
hater or not, it is what it
Thank
is. It is what it is. You have an amazing voice. Like I can't take that away from you. Um, I just want to give you your flowers because I know being in your 20s is not the easiest thing in the world because you're trying to find who you are. You're trying to grow up, but not grow up too fast. You're doing everything possible, like Victoria Monet said in her speech, like she was planting the seeds so the roots can grow underneath in hopes that one day they would sprout. And she was happy because it finally the roots, the flower has finally sprouted.
Yeah.
So I do want to tell you that you are on the right path.
Thank you.
Nothing you want to do in life comes easy. It is hard work, consistency, discipline. I tell my kids all the time, no one's going to give you anything at all. You have to work hard for it and prove that you can do this. But the great thing about it, you have that seed of a beautiful voice.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, I mean, you're 22. I know you're planting it by doing your first song, Crazy for You. You're working on other songs. But I just want you to know that what you're feeling, your instincts, go for it because you are a talented singer. You are talented, and the reason I'm saying this because I was reading the comments of people saying things to you, and I was just like, what world are they living in? That's why I had to have you on because I said, are they not hearing the same voice I'm hearing, or they're just hateful people that just want to say something so they could get a rise?
Yeah.
And I know, like, sometimes reading comments, it hurts. Whether you want to admit it or not, we're all human. Sometimes it bothers you a little bit because this is going to be your audience one day. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So you're gonna, so with the success comes, I know your parents have told you the hate. So I just wanted to give you your flowers. I wanted to thank you so much for coming on Proud of You Sis, and please share all of your platforms so people can find you. I know we want to say all streaming platforms, but that includes your podcast with your dad. Where can they find you?
So my personal pages are Imani Aaliyah with 3 H's at the end. And that would be Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all those things. And then my Apple Music, Spotify, and all those services is just Imani in all caps. And then Crazy for You, you can find that on there. And then for my dad and our podcast, the Instagram is at the Daddy Daughter Dance Podcast, and then our YouTube is the same name. So the link for the YouTube is in the bio of the Instagram.
And then how often does your show air, and what days does it air and what time?
The podcast, so the first one will be this Wednesday, like 3 p.m. Pacific, and then that'll be 6 p.m. Eastern. So we'll just follow that every week. So every Wednesday is at 3 p.m.
Is it going to be live or some, like?
It's something that we are already recorded, so it's just going to be uploaded onto YouTube. So you'll be able to find it at the Daddy Daughter Dance Podcast on YouTube.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I can't wait to come. I'm going to go on YouTube right now, subscribe. Can our followers, please, audience, go right now and subscribe to Daddy Daughter Dance Podcast. And also, please go follow Imani. Listen to her beautiful music, and she has more to come. Can you purchase it when it's on Apple? Can you purchase it?
Yeah, for purchase you have to go on iTunes. So
okay.
Apple Music.
You see how old I am? You see how old I am?
On iTunes.
Okay, so iTunes is for purchase and Apple Music is for listening.
Yeah, it's just streaming. So like Spotify, all that is just for streaming, but iTunes is where you pay for it.
Yo, see the difference in the generation? I said buy it on Apple. But thank you so much. I just want to give a shout out to you're in California right now, so you're 3 hours behind. So thank you for waking up and talking to me. I so appreciate you, and I can't wait to support your career. Thank you so
Thank
much for coming on. I'm proud of you, sis. I'm giving you flowers now. Let me be the first one too. And you will be getting your Grammy. You will be getting your Grammy. So keep pushing hard and you will get a Grammy one day. And I want to say thank you to the audience for joining. I'm proud of you, sis. And see you next week, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.